Senior Bowl practice wrapping up on Thursday. The game is set for Saturday afternoon in Mobile, Alabama. More than 100 prospects working out in front of NFL coaches and scouts from all 32 teams. The 2025 tight end class, one of the deepest classes in recent memory, headlined by Penn State's Tyler Warren and Michigan's Colston Loveland. Neither of them are at the Senior Bowl this week, but there are plenty of names you need to know who are there. Bowling Green's Harold Fannin Jr., Miami's Elijah Arroyo, and LSU's Mason Taylor. As we take a look at the CBS Sports tight end prospect rankings, Fannin Jr. had 1,555 receiving yards last season, most in a season by a tight end in FBS history. Last time multiple tight ends drafted in the first round was 2019, TJ Hawkinson and Noah Fant, both from Iowa. And we've got our crew both in Alabama. Welcoming the co-host of With the First Pick, CBS Sports NFL Draft Analyst Ryan Wilson and longtime NFL GM Rick Spielman, who join us from Mobile. Psyched out of my mind, by the way, Ryan, about this tight end class. Who's impressed you this week the most?
Yeah, it's a deep class, Akeem, and you have every reason to be excited. I'm going to go with Elijah Arroyo out of the U. And Rick, as a longtime evaluator, your first concern is that only 1 year productivity. But Cam Ward's throwing the ball, it's a pretty good year of productivity. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he is smooth in and out of his routes for that size. He'll block for you a little bit, but he had a pretty good week, had one drop that we talked about in the Tuesday practice. But I think he helped himself this week, and I think he has an opportunity, even though it's a deep class, to maybe find his way to day two.
Yeah, very athletic. The biggest issue is it's the 1 year wonder, like we talked about on the podcast today. And then he's had some durability concerns through most of his career, but he had a great year this year, and he's on everybody's radar down here.
Rick, was there another tight end that impressed you, perhaps one from where you grew up?
Yeah, this guy, Bowling Green, Harold Fannin Jr., who you talked about earlier. He is just un-Falcon believable. No. That's my inside joke with Brian.
I love it.
Falcon.
Hover your finger over the mute button because you never know with Rick. All right, tell us about Harold.
Yeah. This kid is a very good athlete. He looked excellent running routes, very smooth. I think he's going to create mismatches in the passing game. Everybody knows the production he had this year, but the thing that impressed me the most, they put him in motion down here and on run plays. He led on lead ISOs and just knocked the crap out of linebackers. So this kid is almost positionless to me because you can play him at fullback, you can play him at H-back, you can put him out at the slot. He's just an un-Falcon believable player, Akeem.
Yeah, he is. He's incredible. To Canton, Ohio, played at McKinley in Massillon. Pretty incredible young man he is. Un-Falcon believable. I mean, what a segment. We're already off and running. Rick drafted Kyle Rudolph in the second round of the 2011 NFL draft, developed into a two-time Pro Bowler. Did you want to make any jokes about Kyle Rudolph and leading, I don't know, Santa's sleigh?
No, he went down. He was down from Cincinnati Elder, I believe, and I played high school football up at Massillon, and we got our arses kicked against Cincinnati. So I don't recognize those kids from Cincinnati or Northeast Ohio people. And Fannin Jr. is from Camp McKinley. I played at Massillon. I swallowed some pride because that's like Michigan, Ohio State, McKinley versus Massillon. But this kid, like I said, is a great kid, and he's going to have a great NFL career.
Last time multiple tight ends drafted in the first round was 2019. TJ Hawkinson and Noah Fant, both from Iowa. Ryan, you've got Penn State's Tyler Warren and Michigan's Colston Loveland going in the first round. Who could be a third tight end that could go in the first round?
That's a great question, because one of the names that we saw on the list there, the graphic before we came in, Akeem, and that wasn't at any of the All-Star games as well. Gunnar Helm out of Texas is an interesting prospect. And he had a breakout year. That Michigan game comes to mind for sure. You see the rest of the names here. Elijah Arroyo, we talked about. Mason Taylor. He has some good bloodlines as well as the name below him, Aronde Gatson. They played together in South Florida. Jaxson Taylor's Mason's dad, and then Aronde Gatson the second. Rick, not coach, you were in the front office when Aronde Gatson Sr. Was in
maybe the best red zone receiver I was ever around when I was down with the Miami Dolphins. But Akeem, there's two tight ends going in the first round. I don't think any of these other guys will go in the first round, but there'll be a lot of tight ends flying off the board on Friday night.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Psyched out of my mind. Third and final day of Senior Bowl practice. Rick, aside from the tight ends, who was the biggest standout for you on Thursday?
Yeah, well, I'm going to stay with my MAC theme, the Mid-American Conference, and Darius Alexander, defensive tackle from Toledo. He is big. He is very athletic. He showed up in a one-on-one pass rush. He does a great job utilizing his quickness and working the edges of blockers. And then when you watch him in the run game, he is very heavy-handed in the run game, was able to separate off blocks. This kid, I don't know if everybody recognizes his name. There was a kid out of Bowling Green a couple of years ago, Carl Brooks, who was an edge rusher that came down and showed up in inside pass rush drills down here at the Senior Bowl. Now he's playing for the Green Bay Packers. He was a later-round draft pick. This kid's going to go on Friday. I think he's going to move up draft boards with what he did and what he showed, because everything he saw on tape, that carried over against a lot of these Power 4 offensive linemen this week.
And again, we've interviewed some kids in the morning, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. This morning, very fine young man, Oluwafemi Oladejo out of UCLA, number 2 during the season, number 99 down here. And Rick, what is his nickname?
O2 Joe.
O2 Joe. Yeah, he told us his nickname was O2 for Olufemi Oladejo. He goes by Femi, and he is an absolute, as Rick likes to say, a going Jess. He plays with Hair on Fire. He was high energy at 6:45 a.m. today. And when you watch him play, he had played off-ball linebacker at Cal where he started, and his first few years at UCLA. This year he moved to edge rush because the linebackers class was so deep, and all he did was go off. It looked like he'd been playing that position for 4 or 5 years. And if you want to get an idea of who he is, watch the Penn State game because that right tackle had no chance. We saw him yesterday morning talking to Mike Tomlin for a little bit, getting his ear. And just something to note there, team, as to go through the draft process. But he's a special kid, and the guy I think has a chance to go on day 2.
Okay, just so you know, when he played Mike linebacker, you'll appreciate this. He reminded me of Pepper Johnson back in the day at Ohio State.
Nice.
So he moved to edge, and all of a sudden it's gotten a lot more buzz about him because he can rush the passer.
I love that. What a skill that translates into on draft day. 84 days away, by the way, from day 1 of the NFL draft. Senior Bowl in a couple days in Saturday afternoon, 2:30 Eastern there in Mobile, Alabama. Ryan, who's a player you're watching out for?
Yeah, and, you know, this is an opportunity for these kids to help themselves, and it's been tough sledding. There's no two ways about it for Taylor Elgersma, the quarterback who got the invite from Canada. And look, it's a different size ball. It's a different size field. It's different rules. And you have 3 days to acclimate the guys that have been doing this entire life. And he struggled a little bit. So I think if he gets to the game, gets an opportunity, maybe things slow down a little bit because you're actually playing football. You're not doing drills. And just give him a chance to get his feet wet and complete a pass and perhaps gain some confidence because he's a big kid. He's got a pretty good arm. He moves well. It's just you haven't been able to see it put together for consecutive snaps because I think it's just all so foreign to him. So hopefully he gets an opportunity to show what he can do, what he did in Canada, show what he do on Saturday in Mobile.
Rick, are you going to be saying? Are you going to be saying, "Oh Canada" or "Oh no"? What are you going to be saying here with this kid?
Yeah, I'm going to say, "Oh no" with what I've seen. He may end up on a practice squad, but oh no, he'll be the first pick overall in the Canadian football draft.
Okay, all right. Aside from Elgersma, who we're rooting for, who stood out to you when you look in terms of who you're going to be watching for on Saturday, who has a huge chance, huge opportunity?
Okay, hold on to your seat.
Okay.
Because I'm going to make a bold prediction here.
Okay.
Watching Jaxson Dart from Ole Miss throw around this week. The first day, he was a little off with the timing with the receivers, but watching him throw the ball, just a natural release. When you watch him on tape, I didn't know how strong his arm was, but he really could put some. When you watch you watch the Georgia game, he had torn his ankle off, had it all taped up, and went out there and finished the game. The thing that he has also is that he can put some touch and accuracy on the ball. I thought he was the best quarterback this week, and I'll tell you this: last year, Bo Nix was probably a Friday pick. Bo Nix came down here and performed well at the Senior Bowl. He ended up the number 12 overall pick in last year's draft. You have 2 first-rounders. Everybody's going to talk about Sanders. Everybody's going to talk about Ward. But don't be surprised with the next group of guys. You got Jaxson Dart, Quinn Ewers, Milroe, Howard, and all these guys. And no one has really separated himself. But Jaxson Dart, I think, has really separated himself as a third quarterback off the board. I'm going to say it's going to end up going in the first round before it's all said and done.
Yeah, he was the most efficient quarterback in FBS this past season, so certainly a player to watch for on Saturday. Again, 84 days away until day one of the NFL draft in Green Bay as we count it down with our guys Ryan and Rick here on CBS Sports HQ. Men, thank you. Hey, if you're not already listening or watching With the First Pick, why not? This is one of the best on the market. With the First Pick, delivering mock drafts, exclusive interviews, player rankings, dad jokes. It's a fun time for all. With the First Pick, download and follow today.